What's the biggest scam we all just accept? The way car insurance works, you need it but don't you dare claim or we may cancel your policy or at the very least jack your prices up. Insurance in general. Pay us ridiculous sums of money all the time so that when something bad happens we can refuse to help you. The only industry that gets away with selling you something that they can then later decide not to deliver. It's infuriating how much I pay and how often they don't cover that. The value of diamonds. I had an acquaintance who gave his fiancée a beautiful ring with fake diamonds. She loved it. They took it to a chain jewelry store to get cleaned. The clerk was an absolute dick to them, saying how the diamond were fake and how it was a crappy ring and such. The fiancée was so upset. She's an absolute sweetheart. I believe they complained about the clerk. Greater than I believe they complained about the clerk. Steve, some more people were complaining that you were denigrating synthetic diamonds and insisting that the real ones were somehow inherently superior, and that buying synthetic ones makes a person cheap and their love unreliable. I'm sorry sir. Actually I'm giving you a bonus. Hi. Your car warranty has expired. This is your final courtesy call before we have to foreclose your car's warranty. Press 1 if you would like to talk with one of our warranty specialists, or press 2 to be removed from our call list. So you press 2 and just get the same call from a different number. One day, I got 3 calls, from 3 different numbers, all about a goddamn car warranty. Commercials on subscription TV. This was the original point of cable TV, that you'd pay a fee for it and the shows would be commercial free. A few years ago, my old boss and I were discussing this stuff. I was telling him that in the next few years that practically every channel/station was going to have their own streaming service. That you couldn't just use Netflix/Hulu for practically everything. No, you'll have to pay for each individual stream service, and then they will throw in ads, but offer a ad-free version for a couple bucks more. Then at some point, some big company will come along and get the rights to bundle all these streaming services together. That way you don't need to sign up with 15 to 20 plus companies, just one and done. And again they will offer a ad-free version for more. But eventually that ad-free version will be gone and they will show ads no matter what cause. What are you going to do? Go to another company? Good luck with that. How expensive funerals are. Companies are taking advantage of emotions, and it's actually cruel. Someone died for goodness sakes, and now you want to break people's banks over it because it's what grandma would have wanted. Edit, after reading some comments from people who work for funeral homes, I'd like to apologize for making it appear as if all funeral homes try to rip people off. There are lots of good ones too. Too bad they get a bad rap because of the ones that do try to rip people off. I like the channel Ask a Mortician. She covers a lot of cool stuff about death and also some disasters and stuff. She's also an advocate for being prepared for death and also affordable funerals and more. Here's her channel if you want to check it out: https://www.youtube.com/c/AskReddit. That channel has genuinely helped me so much in the preparation for my father's death. He has terminal brain cancer, and is honestly a breath of humanity and kindness when most people would rather shy away from the topic. Through her channel I planned an inexpensive cremation that fits all of my dad's needs and a modest service, and everything is already handled in advance so I don't have to think about it later. I really recommend Ask a Mortician and Caitlin Doherty's books to everyone, even if they're not losing a loved one anytime soon, just because she's so upbeat and frank and funny about a topic that feels incredibly oppressive once you're in it, and it helps so much to have another, lighter option available. Release day DLC. That is already on the disc. Looking at you 2010 to 2014 Capcom. Unrepairable electronics, computers, and cars. Just a way of forced obsolescence that doesn't have even the option. Also the subscription model attached to everything, and microtransactions. Watched a recent video on how the newest iPhone is completely fix-proof. Even if you have the exact correct parts and a pro to fit said parts, the phone will still throw a fit and lock itself up, making it unusable. Contradicts their whole save the planet approach when they took away the plug and headphones lol. All just one big scam. Bottled water. Agreed, but only in countries where the tap water has good quality. However, there is no justification for carrying bottled water around the globe. For example, French, Italian water in the US. Academic journals. Authors need to pay to get published, but readers need to pay to read them. What a load of bullshit. There was a published researcher that tweeted about this a while back. Basically all that revenue goes to the publisher. And she said she would send you the published article free and be willing to answer questions you have as you go through it. Translation: find the author and ask them for a copy of the article. They are usually more than happy to help. My dad is a paleontologist and always told me that if I wanted a copy of a paper, just look up one of the authors and email them. Usually they were easy to find on their university's website. They tend to be fucking ecstatic that someone's interested in their work and are happy to help you out. He always joked, there are probably 6 people in the world, besides me, who care about my research, and 3 of them are sitting in this room, while gesturing at my mom, sister, and I. Scientists love it when someone cares enough to contact them and ask questions. Projects just end up over budget, the city and contractors can't do anything about that. Yes, you fucking can. Problems like oh well, it turns out there are utilities in the street are easily foreseen and should be included in your goddamn bids. Instead they get used as a reason to be 4 years behind schedule and tens of millions of dollars over budget. Mom, tell me the truth and I won't be mad. Or principal, if you are the person who did this one bad thing, tell us who you are now and we won't punish you. How to teach kids to lie in 2 easy steps. In America, health insurance. I'm surprised I had to scroll this far down to find this. How do I pay plus $6,000 a year for my premium and then have copays of $50, $100? Mexico is controlled by the cartel and not the government, and nobody in the world cares/does anything. What are we gonna do, invade and occupy them like we do Afghanistan and kill all the cartels? MLMs. Those are all corrupt businesses. They're basically legal pyramid schemes. Had a friend who fell for one and lost a ton of money. They're absolutely pyramid schemes, and they're definitely not legal. Edit, it's been brought to my attention that they technically are legal, by exploiting a loophole, even though they're supposed to be illegal. Data caps. But 5G is going to be so fast screw coverage, and forget that you're capped, fast. 5G speeds? Oh joy. Now I can blow through my monthly data allowance in under a second. Insurance companies trying their absolute fucking best to not do exactly what you pay them whopping sums for every time you need them. Looking at you USAA that brags about not paying claims to keep member premiums low. USAA told me my car was a total loss. Cool, I bought a new car after I heard that. Then they told me my car was repaired and ready for pickup. They eventually honored the total loss. But it was a hassle with them. I left that company. Convenience fees for paying online. I always ask them, convenience to who? Well, it is more convenient, but it also saves the company money, which is why it's horseshit. Hot MILFs in your area. Edit. I didn't know this would get many upvotes and I didn't expect to get awards, but thank you. I worked for the 2020 census. I can confirm that there are no hot MILFs in my area. Either that, or all hot MILFs in my area are aware of their civic duty to fill out the census. Some drugs being illegal, the war on drugs. Oregon was like, screw that lol. I'm so glad Oregon did. I know people are freaking out about it. I'm trying my best to quell their fears, but it's hard when the past couple of generations have been brainwashed to fear drugs. Tipping at restaurants. It would be better for everyone if waiters/waitresses were paid a fair wage instead of relying on tips. A tip used to be a reward for good service but now is supposed to be part of their wage, and it's complete bullshit. I don't think it should be part of their wage. Now, I am aware that a lot of people can make an extremely good wage when tips are added. But I don't think that people should be forced to depend on the generosity of strangers just to make enough money to live on. Being forced to always click I accept terms and conditions by every company online for everything, no matter what those conditions are. Need to pay some medical bills? Well, you can only do it on 30. Pathydoc.ch/www.pathydoc.com and if you don't agree to terms and conditions, you can't get it done. Need to order a specific part from a company? Same thing. Even agreeing to Zoom meetings, if I remember correctly. So we've raised an entire generation of people who don't even bother reading contracts because they are conditioned to believe you have no choice but to agree to the contract. This is extremely insidious and there's no real recourse. GameStation, a British video game retailer, did an April Fool's joke in 2010 where they put a clause in their terms and conditions stating that the company owned your soul. There was a box you could uncheck to not let them have your soul, which would also give you a voucher, but something like 88% of people didn't find that. Because they don't read the terms and conditions. The company ended up owning around 7,500 souls. On the flip side, there was a fella who conned some sort of service provider by professionally editing terms in the contract and slid it back under the noses of the service. I honestly don't remember where I found this story, just so y'all know. College textbooks. You need edition 10 for this class. They change one chapter in the book, make it a new edition, overprice it and fuck the college kids. Always drove me nuts when I was at college. Pearsons should be nuked from orbit. Buy the book new for $200, or the used one for $120 but still have to pay $80 for the activation code for your required homework access that we don't even know how to grade properly, so if your answers aren't exactly how we expected them, they're incorrect. Greater than buy the book new for $200, or the used one for $120, and then when you sell your $200 textbook back to the bookstore after one semester in perfect condition, they only give you $40 for it. And then sell it again for $120. University tuition in the United States and student loan debt that follows you for the rest of your life. I don't get US school system at all. You have to pay more than you could ever afford just to get education. In Finland, all schools except some fancy private schools are free. Inkjet printers. Do people accept this? It is a scam, faux show. I found that I can buy a monochrome laser printer for cheap, so went that route. Too bad I need a scanner and color too. The food pyramid. There is obviously great info on the contrary nowadays, but many still swear by it. Especially doctors. You're just telling me this now, as I finish scarfing down my 6 daily loaves of bread? Need a home/address to get a bank account. Need a bank account to get a job. Need a job/income to get a home. Good luck being homeless in Germany. Edit. Holy moly, thank you all so much for all the comments and upvotes. Made my day. Also, I'm glad I'm not the only one pissed about this. I don't know what your experiences are with this, but there is a pretty easy and straightforward way to get a mailable address at a homeless shelter. Then you qualify for Social Security, bank accounts, etc. Saying this, I do realize that it is an actually daunting or downright impossible task for a lot of homeless folks, with a majority of the homeless population having a mental disorder and/or drug or alcohol addiction. Lavish marriage ceremonies. I got a discounted bridesmaid's dress, light grey, and my mother-in-law made me a flower crown and bouquet. My husband wore his suit, and we got married in a gazebo in a park with friends and a few family members gathered around. The pastor was from my mother-in-law's church and the photographer was my brother's friend. And then immediate family went out to dinner afterwards. I'm shy and hate people. It was absolutely perfect for us. And it was inexpensive. Maybe less than $800 after all was said and done. Large popcorn. Hear me out. When the only options are a large and a small, if the large is $5 but the small is $2, the theaters don't want you to pick the small. So they'll invent a medium size. But instead of pricing the medium as perfectly between $2 and $5, $3.50, they'll price the medium as slightly less than the large. So, in your mind, you think, well, I could get even more popcorn for just a little bit more. I'd be a fool to miss out on that deal. The theater never wanted you to pick the medium. They just artificially made the large more attractive. Also, essential oils, when used for their health benefits, they're not essential in that they're vital to good health. They're essential in the sense that they have the essence of things. Also, games that aren't finished on the release date, whether it needs a patch or actual paid DLC to be complete. Just push the deadline back, or make the deadline a reasonable one. Edit, for this last one, I mean games like Pro Skater 5, which was basically unplayable on launch and needed a 4GB update to actually be a game. Basically, I'm talking about the more egregious examples. I used to work at a movie theater. A customer ordered the medium, so I filled it up, but then they switched their order to the large. I thought, oh, I'll just pour the medium I have into the large container and then top it off with another scoop of popcorn. The medium was the same size as the large. I'll never forget the look on my manager's face when I found out this company's secret. It was as though he said, if you tell anyone, you're fired. I used to work at a coffee chain that did the same thing with soup. The small came in regular-sized bowl. The large came in a weird bowl/plate situation that looked much bigger but was actually the same size. Already a rip-off, but to top it off, we were told that the soup should never go over the lip of the bowl onto the plate part on the large because it looked unprofessional. Only way to avoid that was to put less soup in. The large was nearly double the price of a small. For less soup. I told every customer that ordered a large they were getting ripped off. That job sucked. Ticketmaster convenience fees. Ticketmaster is an interesting case. It is owned by Live Nation, which is the world's largest and most dominant event promoter. The majority of the tacked-on fees are not necessarily fees from Ticketmaster itself, but are added by the venue, even the artists themselves. But Ticketmaster as an organization gets the blame, by design. They are the designated bad guy so that the promoter, the band, the venue, et al. are able to make more money and still look good. Check out the episode The Truth About Concert Tickets from the Ongoing History of New Music podcast by Alan Cross. It's a real eye-opener. It's the same as how airlines used to be. Just tell me the full price per ticket before I start ordering them. I don't care how much bullcrap you or the venue or the government tax on. Just don't tell me the tickets are $50 if my credit card is going to be charged $120 after it's all said and done. Reddit coins. Whenever anyone brings this up, Reddit gets all ironic and showers you with coins, but it's literally paying to say that you extra agree with something. Edit, oh you goofy goober. You ruined that person's chance of riding the sweet coin train by bringing attention to it.